Kanye West just ignited a firestorm, publicly trashing J. Cole and taking aim at Kendrick Lamar in a shocking live stream, aligning himself with Drake, yet didn't hold back, turning long-simmering tensions into open warfare. This could be the start of hip-hop's next major showdown. This harsh criticism came as part of a lengthy rant where Kanye questioned why Drake would ever collaborate with Cole, suggesting Cole lacks talent and authenticity. During the livestream, Kanye elaborated on his disdain, stating,
"It can't be called music. I hate J. Cole, what he does, bro. I hate the people that sign J. Cole, you know? And I'm like, yo, you can't be pushing this to people."
The livestream featured Top 5, a known affiliate of Drake, which adds another layer to this developing hip-hop drama. Kanye didn't stop at criticizing J. Cole. He also dragged Kendrick Lamar into the conversation, drawing comparisons between the two rappers.
And it was something about both J. Cole and Kendrick that music sort of it reminds me of each other and shit like that. It's just not that sauce to me like that. It's
He further declared that anyone who considers Kendrick among their favorite rappers simply doesn't understand hip-hop, stating anybody that say Kendrick is one of their favorite rappers don't know about rap, doesn't know about real rap. This comment was directed specifically at actor Ben Affleck, who recently shared his personal Mount Rushmore of rap, which included Kendrick Lamar alongside Lil Wayne. Slick Rick and Eazy-E Kanye dismissed Affleck's list, suggesting the actor lacks understanding of authentic rap music. What makes these comments particularly interesting is Kanye's inconsistency regarding Kendrick Lamar. Earlier this year, Kanye had praised Kendrick, suggesting that nobody except himself could defeat the Compton artist in a rap battle. Kanye had explained, if you rap against Kendrick, you will lose. This man does this. He even commended Kendrick for winning his viral battle against Drake, saying, Drake added something to the algorithm to our frequency. Ye advanced it, and now Kendrick has now advanced the frequency. This isn't the first time Kanye has targeted J. Cole. His animosity goes back several months. Earlier, Kanye took to social media platform X to express his distaste, writing, I hate J. Cole music so much, it's like between Kendrick and J. Cole. I bet you industry plants asked J. Cole to diss Drake, then we would have been accosted with a J. Cole Super Bowl commercial with no SZA song to save it. No one listens to J. Cole after losing their virginity. Kanye also took a shot at J. Cole on his Like That remix with the line, play J. Cole, get the pussy dry. The hostility appears to be mutual, as J. Cole has previously criticized Kanye on tracks like False Prophets from 2016 and Middle Child from 2019, where he suggested Kanye hasn't lived up to his legendary status. However, despite these ongoing tensions, J. Cole recently took the high road during his set at Dreamville Fest 2025. There, he showed appreciation for Kanye, stating, I know niggas feel a way about him right now, but I got love for him, and I really appreciate him. He cleared all these fucking samples for me. The Drake connection in this feud cannot be overlooked. During the live stream, the conversation shifted to criticizing J. Cole's decision to step back from the Kendrick Lamar and Drake battle. When things got hot, Top 5 clarified that he's Drake's shooter in real life, while Kanye positioned himself as being firmly on Drake's side in the ongoing beef with Kendrick. The favorite line was my favorite line at the whole show was like, you rap like you trying to keep the slaves free, Kanye said, referencing Drake's controversial lyrics from Family Matters directed at Kendrick. Out here begging for attention. Nigga say please. Always rapping like you about to get the slaves freed. Kanye admitted feeling conflicted about supporting Drake in the feud, comparing it to when he wore a Trump hat. It used to eat me up that I could. Me the fact that I liked that bar and I was on Drake's side, I felt like I was wearing a Trump hat again. During the live stream, Kanye and Top 5 agreed that J. Cole threw up the flag after the war got hot, with Kanye adding, you can't start a war, say someone's name, and then when it gets serious, you run. This references J. Cole's attempt to distance himself from the Drake-Kendrick beef after initially weighing in. Kanye positioned himself and Drake as the true titans of the industry, saying, at the end of the day, the world has Ye and Drake like, that's your standard, that's your Louis Vuitton and your Gucci right there. He diminished J. Cole and Kendrick's contributions to hip-hop, boldly claiming,
That's the other thing. It's like this J. Cole had to put him and Kendrick's combined don't add up to Ye. Fuck out of here. Out of here. Fuck the same breath. Like,
the timing of these comments coincides with Kanye uploading his previously unreleased 2022 Donda 2 album to streaming services on April 29th, 2025. This could explain his increased public presence and willingness to stir controversy. In March, Kanye also took to social media to share his thoughts on Playboi Carti's new album, Music. During that rant, he explicitly stated, "I don't like Kendrick Lamar's music. He raps very good, but I didn't need to hear him on Carti album." Weeks later, Kanye expanded on his issues with Kendrick in an interview with DJ Academics, saying, "I don't really have a problem with Kendrick. I would never call Kendrick a fucked, you know what I'm saying? I don't like what happened with the song and that whole idea. I don't like how they used Kendrick. And also, I don't like him saying he's the number one. One, because I'm the number one." Throughout all these public statements, neither J. Cole nor Kendrick Lamar has directly responded to Kanye's latest round of criticism. Their silence is notable, especially given the aggressive nature of Kanye's comments. This ongoing tension between some of hip-hop's biggest names highlights the competitive nature of the genre and the complex relationships between its top artists. As fans wait to see if J. Cole or Kendrick will respond to Kanye's provocations, or whether they'll continue to take the high road, but Kanye West remains unafraid to speak his mind, regardless of the potential backlash or industry consequences. The question now is whether this is simply another chapter in Kanye's history of controversial statements, or the beginning of a more significant feud that could result in new diss tracks and further escalation in the coming weeks. West Coast hip-hop circles are ablaze with controversy after comedian Duno made inflammatory statements about Tupac Shakur and the role of Hispanics in hip-hop culture. This conflict has ignited a fiery debate between podcast communities, with racial tensions coming to the forefront of discussions about cultural ownership and contribution. The dispute began when a podcast called The Viral Way responded to comments made on the Hater Worlds podcast regarding Hispanic artists in hip-hop. A guest on Hater Worlds claimed that black people in the industry deliberately limit the success of Latino artists.
Go on, right? It's been competitive. It's never been unity. It's like there can only be like a certain amount winning.
Like, I feel like they shouldn't like put a limit to how far a homie should go.
That's what they're doing now.
Exactly.
Yeah, even though with who though?
I'm not gonna lie. You know who they? Okay.
You saying between the blacks and the Mexicans?
Yes.
Yeah, it seems like the blacks will let you win, but only up to where they want to.
To a certain extent. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's where I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
This statement provoked a passionate response from The Viral Way, who defended hip-hop as fundamentally black culture.
Hey, check this out, cuz. Hip-hop is our culture, period. If you a guest, shut the f up and enjoy being a guest. So whoever said that on that podcast, f them straight up. Yeah, ain't no tap dancing, ain't no nothing. Fuck them, period. Get them out the culture. Stop covering our culture. Cover your mother culture if you feel that way. Because you not holding yourself back, right? Your people not holding you back. So go do podcasts about your culture. Go do podcasts about Hispanic music. Go do Hispanic music where y'all not holding each other back. If this the way you feel. Because really that was just some undertone racist. Really you just said, this is what it is. You see Kendrick, number one, Jay-Z, Nas, then you looking up there like, damn, who's a Hispanic Jay?
Duno, a prominent Mexican-American comedian, observed this back and forth and decided to offer his perspective on his own podcast. He first criticized both sides for relying too heavily on drama and conflict for content. Duno stated, however, Duno's comments took a controversial turn when he began discussing the role of Hispanics in supporting hip-hop, particularly in Los Angeles. He asserted that Hispanic fans are essential to the careers of many black artists, especially on the West Coast. Duno then made his most inflammatory claims, suggesting that Tupac Shakur, widely regarded as one of hip-hop's greatest artists, owed his career to Hispanic producers. This statement was immediately met with widespread criticism. Commentators pointed out that while Johnny J, who produced several tracks on Tupac's All Eyes on Me album, was of Mexican descent, Tupac had already established himself as a successful artist prior to that collaboration. Duno lost his mind. He lost every living cell of his mind to come on that podcast and utter this take. Now, if this was strictly a LA thing, then he would have a point. But the conversation was extending outside of LA. It was a hip-hop discussion about hip-hop in general. The criticism further highlighted that hip-hop has become a global phenomenon that transcends regional demographics. While Hispanic fans represent a significant portion of the audience in Los Angeles, the worldwide hip-hop audience includes diverse supporters from various backgrounds. Hip-hop is a global expansion at this point. Hip-hop exists outside of LA, outside of the United States. If, let's say, you take away the Hispanic support, hip-hop still got support from white folks, Asians, blacks, Native Americans. The critics also present demographic statistics to counter Duno's claims. Hip-hop needs the support of white folks more than the support of Hispanics. White folks is 75% of the population. Hispanics is 19%. So if white folks stop listening to hip-hop, it's over with. Viral Way directly addressed Duno's Tupac claim, calling it beyond diabolical. The controversy illuminates the complex racial dynamics within hip-hop culture, particularly in Los Angeles, where Hispanic influence is pronounced. One analyst described an experience at a live podcast recording where 95% Hispanics, 5% everybody else were in attendance, creating pressure for black podcasters to cater to their audience's sensibilities. When you have the majority of your audience that are all Hispanics, well, as a black person, that puts you in a tough spot, because essentially now you have to choose between your audience, who pays your bills, or your morals. So a lot of people choose to just acquiesce, to just get along, to not even try to ruffle the feathers or even issue their real opinion. Some commentators suggested that Duno's Tupac statement was particularly damaging because it fuels polarizing narratives. Comments like that create support for people like Tariq Nasheed or Viral Way, where they go to the extent of saying hip-hop is our culture, you guys are guests, get out. Others questioned why the hosts on Duno's podcast didn't challenge his statements more directly. One theory suggested they were concerned about alienating their Hispanic audience. AD pretty much knows how to give his real opinion in the right way to where he's not isolating or ostracizing certain people. He's articulate, he's well-spoken, he's smart. In contrast, Trell is a crash-out artist. Trell don't care about being friends with anybody. Trell is going to tell you how he feels, and he's not going to present it in a digestible format for you. The controversy also revealed competitive tensions between podcast networks, with one host from Viral Way claiming superiority over rival shows.
We have original content, bro. That's why they are able to do the reaction off of us. We have sustainability because our shit is authentic. They shit is like kind of phasing off because they going off with another motherfucker. They don't have their own original thought for their own self.
This claim was criticized as inappropriate coming from someone not central to the conflict. This is equivalent to like the third-string quarterback on the Rams telling Justin Jefferson before they play the Vikings, "Hey bro, we about to hold you to 5 yards this game." In follow-up discussions, other podcasters acknowledged that Duno made some valid points about podcast beef being played out, but went too far with his Tupac claims. They also emphasized the regional nature of his perspective. One podcaster said,
points.
Let the young man rumble.
He had some valid points. He was cooking, but then
let the young man rumble, man. We were sitting back. We like, go ahead, do it up. Hey, because he don't do rants like that.
He don't. Never.
So when he did it,
then he said,
like, just let him cook. I'm like, let him cook. That's his take. I'm like, let him cook. But I'm like, I know once he said 90%, and it's gonna be people who be like, yeah, because it's people who don't understand. Like he represent the West Coast, but he wasn't just big on the West Coast. Like people fuck with him everywhere.
Right.
So it's like it take everybody to support him, not just 90% Mexicans. Like
another added,
they teach classes on him in colleges that's nowhere near the West Coast.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, that's not. No, bro.
90% was just a wild number.
Yeah.
If we would gave a realistic percentage, but 90% is a wild number.
That's not a wild number.
Some speculated about Duno's age affecting his perspective.
Yeah. Shout out to Duno, though, man. He was, you know, like I said, I don't even think bro was alive.
Nah, Duno was born in 2000.
Yeah, nigga, Pac died long before that.
When he was born?
94.
He was only 2 when he died.
2 years old.
Yeah.
Just hear those.
Despite the controversy, several commentators acknowledged the strong Hispanic support for hip-hop in California.
Yes, for sure.
On the West,
I got a lot
absolutely.
of Hispanic fans, bro, for sure. They be showing
They
most
support,
love.
they show love and everything, you know what I'm saying?
They describe typical audience demographics at shows.
Yeah, he not
That's
lying
what
about
they
Cali.
ain't lying. You go to them shows, nigga. You go to an artist show, nigga. It's gonna be nigga 80%, 75% Hispanics
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Like it be like
That's
sure.
gonna be 2%.
Yep, 2%
Yeah.
niggas, and guess what? It's gonna be 100% trying to get in the backstage.
This prompted a discussion about different support patterns.
But I ain't gonna say all black people. Most
Yeah,
black
yeah,
people.
yeah,
Let's
not
put
all.
most. I don't like
Yeah,
boxing everybody
yeah,
in.
nah.
But it is niggas who are proud to pay and will support shop.
Absolutely.
Who will support, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And support their homies. Then it is those who like, yeah, nigga, I support you, but I still want to get it free.
The conversation concluded with a recognition that hip-hop brings together diverse communities.
They just consumers of hip hop. Like the Mexican culture out here is consumers of hip hop. So I believe they support their own, plus other races. You know what I'm saying? The blacks and whoever else you put out good music. Mainly just black and brown. You know, they
Everybody
for sure
support.
support black and brown for sure.
Everybody support everybody, man.
Yeah.
Fuck it, man. Everybody support everybody around this motherfucker.
Sure.
Do it up.
That make a lot more sense.
Yeah, that's not snitching.
No. Now, as far as Brick goes, I think a lot of people were really thrown off and saddened by.
They thought they were walking out, but the judge had other plans. In a courtroom showdown that felt more like a street war than a legal hearing, Brick Baby and Loose Cannon just got hit with a brutal reality check. No bond, no freedom, and no mercy from the judge. Let's get straight to it. Both Brick Baby and Loose Cannon were denied bond. They were confident they'd be released on April 9th because they had strong bond packages. Brick Baby's mom even put up a multi-million-dollar property. However, the judge denied their requests, citing similar reasons, including prior criminal history, potential interference with the legal process, and that the court believes they pose a threat. This doesn't stop them from reapplying for bond, but for now, they remain in custody. Brick Baby's hearing went smoothly, but Loose Cannon's, not so much. There was some serious drama involving a neighborhood OG named Eddie Boy. I want to give you guys both sides, all right. The pro-Loose Cannon side and the anti-Loose Cannon side. Eddie Boy was in the courtroom. Apparently, they don't get along. Loose Cannon straight up said in court, "Why is Eddie Boy here? I don't mess with him," right in front of everybody. The officers had to step in, telling him Eddie Boy had every right to be there. Court is public. After some back and forth, Loose Cannon finally cooled down. During the hearing, the prosecution brought up Loose Cannon's past charges to argue he was a risk to society. However, Loose Cannon claimed many of those charges weren't his. He said something like, "I didn't go to jail for that. My brother did those crimes." It turns out that Loose Cannon and his brother aren't just siblings. They're actually twins. Not only do they look alike, but they also have strikingly similar names. That's where things took a strange turn. Due to what appears to have been a clerical error in the legal system, the prosecution mistakenly pulled up his brother's criminal record and tried to use it against Loose Cannon in court. In other words, they were holding him accountable for things he never actually did. Now here's where things get tricky. Loose Cannon pointed out the mistake to the court, making it clear that those charges didn't belong to him, but to his twin brother. That correction helped his case, but in certain circles, especially in the streets, calling out someone else's record, even if it's to defend yourself, raises eyebrows.
Yeah, I say that on the phone, like, "Yo, you dumb nigga, why you on the phone?" I'm like, "Oh, shit." Because you know them calls is recorded.
Yeah.
So they like, "Man, what the f you?" I'm like, "Oh, shit." I'm like, "Man." I started crying for a second, and I hung up the phone.
So, is that snitching? Well, some like 600 might say yes, because, technically, he revealed that his brother had a criminal record, even if indirectly. But from Loose Cannon's perspective, he wasn't trying to get his brother in trouble or cooperate with the authorities against him. He was just trying to clear his own name and avoid being punished for something he didn't do. In his eyes, it wasn't snitching, it was self-defense. The situation with Eddie Boy escalated. Loose Cannon's lawyer observed Eddie Boy on his phone and suspected he was recording. She alerted the judge, who had Eddie Boy escorted out to check. He wasn't recording and was allowed back in. Loose Cannon's past online activity was also brought up. Prosecutors are using his claims of being an enforcer and his comments about people's families against him. They even asked Eddie Boy if he wanted to press charges for those comments, but Eddie Boy said, "No, I don't need to. Loose Cannon is being accused of lying about fights in jail, which prosecutors say never happened. He's also accused of not being truthful about his gang affiliation. Some are saying he's not really a rolling 60. Loose Cannon and his associates deny these allegations. The fight outside No Jumper with JRE was brought up as evidence of Loose Cannon's violent tendencies. The prosecution is using this to argue that he shouldn't be released back into society. The situation with Eddie Boy escalated. Loose Cannon's lawyer observed Eddie Boy on his phone and suspected he was recording. She alerted the judge, who had Eddie Boy escorted out to check. He wasn't recording and was allowed back in. Loose Cannon's past online activity was also brought up. Prosecutors are using his claims of being an enforcer and his comments about people's families against him. They even asked Eddie Boy if he wanted to press charges for those comments. It's crazy how things change. Loose Cannon and 600 used to be on the same team, exposing others. Now, 600 is calling Loose Cannon a liar. This shows how quickly life can come at you, especially when you're living a fast life. All of Loose Cannon's enemies seem to be stuck in the past, relics from the 60s, and that's not just a coincidence. It highlights a harsh and sobering truth about gang culture. It's a cycle that refuses to evolve, built on old grudges, outdated codes, and empty promises. People often think gangs provide a sense of safety, a place to belong, like a brotherhood. But the reality is far more brutal. There's no peace here. No true protection. What you find, instead, is betrayal, violence, and a life filled with constant paranoia. Loose Cannon's story isn't some fictional drama crafted for entertainment. These aren't just characters on a screen. They're reflections of real people, real communities, and real consequences.